experiencing the slot canyons, nature's best kept secret. When you think of Vegas slots, you instantly think of the flashing lights and constant bells and dinging inside of a smoky casino, pulling the arm of a machine hoping to hit the jackpot. What you don't realize is that the best slots you could ever experience in the world are just outside of Las Vegas in the desert, not inside a casino. What I'm talking about are slot canyons, nature's best kept secret and something so rare and beautiful that it took Mother Nature millions of years to create. When you finally have the chance to discover one of these earthly crevasses, it's better than winning the lottery, because you will be transported to a place so surreal and beautiful that even when you are walking and climbing through one, it doesn't seem natural or real. Tweet. Share. For those of you that don't know what a slot canyon is, it is a narrow canyon usually found in a desert formed by the wear of water rushing through rock. It is strange to think of rushing water in a desert, but when it does rain and flash floods form, they can be very powerful and quick, and over years, they have formed these amazingly smooth canyons. Slot canyons, sculptured by water over millions of years, offer an adventure experience that is amazing and vastly different from anything you've probably seen before, and they look like an artist came through and sculpted the walls, not Mother Nature. A slot canyon is significantly deeper than it is wide. Some slot canyons can measure less than 3 feet across at the top but drop more than 100 feet to the floor of the canyon. Many slot canyons are formed in sandstone and limestone rock, although slot canyons in other rock types such as granite and basalt are possible. If you have watched the Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the scene where Sean Connery and Harrison Ford were looking for the Holy Grail was actually filmed in Petra, Jordan, in the Sick, one of the most famous slot canyons in the world. That narrow canyon, not much wider than a crack, was the entrance to the city of Petra. It was entirely carved into the sheer cliff faces of a canyon during the Crusades and one of the most magical canyons in the world. You don't have to travel all the way to the Middle East to see a natural wonder like Petra. In fact, southern Utah has the densest population of slot canyons in the world, with over 1,000 slot canyons in the desert lands south of Interstate 70. Utah's slot canyons are found along Canyonlands National Park's Joint Trail, within the San Rafael Swell and the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument, especially along the Escalante River drainage including Coyote Gulch. But the granddaddy of all slot canyons can be found in Zion National Park at the Narrows, with walls rising nearly 2,000 feet and are only 30 feet apart at the extremes. Other slot canyons have a different appeal and are unique in their own way, like Buckskin Gulch, one of the longest slot canyons in the world, which begins in southern Utah and continues into northern Arizona within the Paria Canyon Vermilion Cliffs Wilderness. Northern Arizona also has a high concentration of slot canyons, including Antelope Canyon and Secret Canyon, which are two of the most famous slot canyons located near Page on land owned by the Navajo Nation. Slot canyons are also located in the valley between U.S. Route 89 and the Vermilion Cliffs in Arizona and can be seen as one descends into the valley on U.S. 89, but these are on the Navajo Reservation and are closed to the public. In contrast to the Grand Canyon, which is a mile deep and 10 miles across, a slot canyon can have walls that are only a few feet apart and be so enclosed that sunlight rarely reaches the bottom. Slot canyons offer an intimate experience on a small scale versus an overwhelming experience on a massive scale. What is so magical about these canyons is the way the light and colors can completely change based on the time of day and time of year that you are exploring them. Sometimes the sunlight can cast bright orange and red hues in summer and purple and blue hues in the winter. If you are climbing through a slot canyon during high noon in the summer, sometimes ethereal beams of light can shine down into the canyon, illuminating it like God himself is shining a flashlight down in there. As a professional photographer, I am obsessed with not only finding and exploring those hidden wonderlands but also with the fact that you can never take the same photograph down there twice depending on what time you happen to be visiting. It leaves me wanting to come back again and again at different times of the year, trying to chase and capture the changing light. The slots are as varied as their locations. Some, like Upper Antelope Canyon in Arizona, are widely known because photographer Peter Lik made it famous by selling a photograph of the slots for over $7 million, the most expensive photograph ever sold. Others are known only by word of mouth or are kept a secret on purpose because they exist on Navajo lands. Some are easy hikes, but others require ropes and experienced rock climbing to navigate and explore them. What I realized is that there is no real resource for the average explorer to find these hidden gems in the desert other than word of mouth. So when I did a recent photography workshop outside of Page, Arizona to photograph Upper and Lower Antelope Canyon, I was flooded with people asking where it was and how to get there. So I decided to compile a list of slots within a 4-hour drive from Las Vegas that will awaken the Indiana Jones inside of you, take you on endless magical adventures through the desert, and leave you wanderlusting for more. Upper and Lower Antelope Canyon, Owl, Rattlesnake, Navajo Nation, Page, Arizona. Most of you have seen photos of this place and not ever realized where it was. Located just a few miles outside of Page, Arizona, you have to book a tour to go see any of these canyons, since they are technically on Navajo lands and not accessible without a Navajo guide. Upper Antelope Canyon, Page, Arizona. Antelope Canyon, east of Page, Arizona, and about 270 miles northeast of Las Vegas, is popular all year, but spring and summer are peak times for visitors because of the remarkable shafts of light that laser down to the canyon floor. Both Upper and Lower Antelope Canyon are on Navajo land, about a 90-minute drive from the Utah border. A Navajo guide is required to drive you over the desert wash in a Suburban out to their hidden entrances and to enter them. You can learn more about guides, photography, and even nighttime tours through the canyons through adventurous Antelope Canyon photo tours. No matter who guides you, visitors usually are limited to 2 hours in these canyons, and it sounds like a long time, but it flies by and never seems like enough time. The guides know all of the best spots to take photos and even can enhance the light by tossing dust from the canyon floor into the beam. If you're really lucky, you'll see a double beam as I did in April of last year. It was almost like a religious experience. Beware though, this canyon can get very crowded during the high season with tourists, but it still will be one of the most incredible places you have ever walked through.